Hi everyone. I'm just having a little trouble getting into gear here today. Trying to figure out which way I'm going to go, what I'm going to do to get myself back on track. I do want to tell you that we were given approval on the handle Steam Film. So at some point we see that to be the moniker under which we will be releasing a feature film on Steemit at some point, as I say, in the future. So until we're ready to use it, we'll just leave it sit there. As far as Stoker's Furnace is concerned, I've run into a bit of a roadblock as relates the relationship between two of the principal characters, the Charlie character and the Kurtis character, and just how I'm going to portray that relationship effectively. It's a funny thing. You've got an idea in your mind of what the relationship will be, what the roles are, but somehow often the words that you come up with to convey what that might be are not worthy. It's something that I think you just have a feel for. It's just that there are some things that go beyond words. And so then you try to relate that to images and et cetera, and maybe go with montages and whatnot. But you keep coming back to the point where, there's got to be a point when you're dealing with a pivotal role, which I believe the Kurtis role is, where you just have to leave it up to the actor. If you can find the right actor, and I think I talked about this yesterday a little bit with Robert Sheehan, if you can find the right actor, that actor will know, how to bring that character alive, and ultimately it won't be in the words at all. It'll be in, I don't know, maybe even ad-libs that they might have or he might have. But certainly a big part of that responsibility for that is going to be with the actor himself, without question. So, of course, then you get into the depressing parts of filmmaking, which is okay, but to get a really good actor, you need some really big money and so on, etc. And I guess that's really one of the major dilemmas of film. It's we say it's all in the story, and it is, no question about it. But I guess it's how you bring that story to life, how the characters bring that story to life. I'm not sure that applies for something like Furious or maybe Lord of the Rings, or I don't know, maybe I'm being a little condescending there, but certainly when it comes to some shall we say dramatic films, simple films like The King's Speech or Moonlight, for example, it just sometimes goes beyond words. And so as a writer, you sit there and you say, God, where do I stop? Where do I start? When do I just go sideways? I don't know. It's just, it just becomes very, very, very confusing. And I guess you just have to sit with it, brood with it, play with it, and then try to figure it out. But it's just something beyond what sometimes that you see on the page or feel on the page. I can't really put words to it, except to say that it goes without saying that you have to put some thought into it. You have to think about it. You have to discuss it, or I don't think you'll have an effective piece of work. I mean, to give an example of what I mean, we take so many things for granted, and we just assume that this is the way we're doing it because that's the way we do it. But, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about, this whole concept of what we're calling, for the sake of expediency, I'll just call it the big video game that we may be in right now. We may be not who we think we are, what we think we are. We may just be, ones and zeros. Anyway, I was thinking about that, and I thought, yeah, that's kind of neat, but given my recent experience with sort of that type of thinking in my surgery, an interesting thing happened to me in the recovery room. And I can't, I believe it was brought about by a mistake on my part, but still, it does haunt me to the point where now I'm thinking things like, you can't just be satisfied with one level or with something being finished. It's like, could it be a never-ending story? Here's what happened. When I was coming to in the recovery room, I don't know why, but I was thinking, and I could see a clock on the wall, and I could see that it was getting close to 6 o'clock. So, of course, I'm trying to look over my shoulder easily, and with pain actually, but to try to find some reference. And of course, I'm seeing what appear to be people just standing, not moving, but just standing. And I'm thinking, well, it's a little dark. The sun will be up shortly, so I'll have a better picture of who those people are. And then, I would close my eyes, and I'd be thinking, oh, I've had a good sleep now for another half an hour or so. I'll wake up my eyes, but the clock virtually had not changed in terms of time. And some of the people had moved, some had gone, some were still there, of course. But what was getting me was that things weren't in the norm. I mean, things weren't coming to life. In fact, very shortly after that, the lights started going down and the shadows became greater. And so I realized there's a window behind me, and I'm looking around to see, the sun should be up now, and what's going on, and God, this experience of waiting for the sun to come up and trying to realize this world I was in, and how the movement was all very conscious to me, very real to me. And it seemed like I was looking into another place, so to speak. It actually caught me off guard to the point where I'm thinking, whoa, this was maybe what we were talking about. This was like maybe I'm sort of in between two worlds. And I actually thought at one point, does this mean I died? Does this mean I'm moving on? Well, wait a second. I'll wait till the sun comes up and I'll be able to see better. And I said, where is the sun? And so on. And it was quite freaky. But one of the things that caused me great consternation was when I closed my eyes, it's like I could see through my eyelids. There were images that were still there. The images I had just been looking at. And when I moved my head either way, the images were moving with me to the point where I could see these things, what I thought was through my eyelids. And that kind of freaked me out, because I'm thinking, geez, this is some kind of a transition. There's something going on here. And then I'm realizing now what's going on. It's 8 o'clock. And this seems like a day's gone by. 2 days are gone by. It only seems a couple of hours. And I went through this trauma for about 12 hours until I realized that, I guess since my operation was at 7 o'clock in the morning and I got into the ICU and was waking up at 6 o'clock, it was really 6 o'clock at night and not 6 o'clock in the morning. So that misjudgment on my part may have triggered all this in my mind. I don't know. But it is certainly food for thought when you get into a position like that and you start challenging some of the mores, some of the ideas, thoughts, perceptions, and whatnot that we have, that we just accept. We just deem them to be accepted. And, away we go. So now I must admit this is causing me some trouble with Stoker's Furnace. And I'm saying, and I'm not sure this is good or bad, whether it's excellent or... But the idea is, so, okay, I know what a director's supposed to do, but is that what a director's supposed to do? I mean, the actor has a role, but, is it just the words on the page, or does the actor actually, does the actor have the responsibility of really going beyond, bring it to life? I think he does, but the question is, how do you formulate it into some type of a commercial success or a non-commercial success in any way, shape, or form? Whatever happens ultimately with it, I guess, will be the final form. But for me right now, it's more like, and I'm really in my head, in other words, as opposed to, being in the emotional state of writing. But I'm really at the point now where everything is questionable. The roles, as a writer, how I write, as a producer, how I might produce, as a director, how I might direct, as an actor, how I might act, and I guess it's now in my mind where I'm saying anything is up for grabs. We've got to look at everything from top to bottom, break it all down, and really see what really is driving it all. I guess I'm looking at it now after this operation. I don't know, maybe it's just a passing thing. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but maybe it's to the point where I'm actually seeing the whole film making process as simply a system, and maybe a very flawed system. Maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it's not anything as substantial as that. Maybe it's more in the ether of what's out there. I'm not sure, but it's playing with my mind right now. I guess maybe that happens when you go through what I've just gone through. I don't know, but it is really playing with my mind right now. I'm having trouble getting back to the daily bump and grind. Anyways, I thought I'd share that with you. I don't know whether that's on target of what I'm trying to do or not, working with you and the Steemians, but that's it for today, and I'll try to fill you in on my thinking as I move on in the next couple of days, okay? So take care, and we'll be talking to you soon.